Yeah, shalom, everyone. Shalom. I want to welcome everyone back to the house of the Lost Sheep of Israel. I'm Elder Michael Johnson, which we're going to go through a very interesting teaching, I will call it, because we're going to find out a couple of things today. And before we really get started, we're going to see where people's head is at as we go through here. And I'm going to put a poll up, and actually this first one y'all overlook it because I didn't do what I wanted to do. So overlook that one. I'm going to sit there in that poll. I'm ending that one because it didn't, I put that up to, I didn't do what it, yeah. So let me do this. And I'm getting ready to put up a poll. Let me put it up this way. And I want you to be pretty honest with this as we go through. And this is, as I'm putting this up, before I put it up, I want you to really understand where I'm coming from. So this is not something where I want to see what people are doing. So when we do the poll, nobody knows who put what, but we just want to find out what people's thoughts are. And then I'm going to do a poll afterwards, and we can see did we help or did we do anything to show you more so or educate you about what's going on? So what I'm going to put up is I want to ask you guys, and you're going to see the poll go up. And this is everybody. This is even the whites over here, the whatever you are. This for everybody. And it said, did Martin King help his people? And that says, Martin King helped his people in any way, shape, or form. That's all I'm asking. And I want you to be honest. If that's what you thought at one time, then that's fine. But if you still think it now, just put what you think right there. Did he help his people? And I really want to find out what people truly think, because this is going to help us out as we go through. And so far we have one person, but hopefully we can get more than right now. We only got 78 people. It's going up. Got a couple of people right now. We got 2 people said that Martin helped his people. And we just want to go through, and we got 98% still saying no, but we starting to get a little bit more traction on the other side. And I want to make sure that we clearly get what's going on and understand what's happening. So we're going to give this another probably minute. Give people a chance to at least put what they personally think. What did Martin do? At least what they personally think, what did Martin do? And please do not put your yes or no's in the comment, because you put it in there, you have a 100% chance it's going to get deleted, because we asking everybody to put those in there in the chat. Don't put them in the in there. Not put them in there. And same thing is, people, we're not asking you to give us your opinion on anything. We're asking you a yes or no on what it is. So I'm asking people just to follow what we're asking, not to give us anything else. And as they're putting there right now, the answer in the poll. Just answer in the poll, yes or no. That's all we want. We're not looking for anything else but just that answer. And we're trying to figure out, and we're getting ready to end the poll in 1 second, because we got more than 125 people have voted, and I'm trying to give a few more people a chance to vote before I end the poll. So this is what's going on. So I'm going to end the poll in about another 15 seconds. So it looks like got a couple of more people voted. So I want to give a couple of more people doing it, because more than half of them voted. So we're going to get ready to end the poll. And we're going to find out what's going on. So I'm going to end the poll in 10 seconds. So if you haven't voted and you want to put in your 2 cents, as all of us are, this is your chance to do it. So the poll is ending right now. And I want you to look at this poll. In either way, negative or positive, we can't hold ourselves different, because some of us is 92% is going on based on some information that they learned about him beforehand. Same as myself. And the same thing, you have 7% of the people out of the 134 people said that Martin King helped his people. Those are the people that I really want to focus to, because it's nothing to where we can speak any ill will about them based on what they know. Based on what they know. So we can't sit there and say there's anything wrong, because based on what they know, he did good. And if you don't know, people are going to always say this. So it's nothing ill will about them. I appreciate them for voting and just being honest about it. And the only thing I'm asking you is, once we finish this lesson and we find in all these discoveries, then I'm going to put the poll up again, the same poll. And if you change your mind based on what you see, then you change your mind. But if you don't, that's fine. We can walk away. At least we have presented to you what the truth is. So it's no harm, no foul here. All we can do is present to you the truth. And presenting the truth is share a little bit about me for about 30, 40 seconds, before I go into what we got to do. And as you'll see on a lot of stuff, you'll see where I've been a master Hebraist for quite a while. I wouldn't use master Hebraist for a while because Dr. Shaul, who I came under, was a master Hebraist. I didn't want to put myself or have people look at me equally to him. So I wouldn't use it. But before he passed, over a year before he passed, he wanted me to really start using master Hebraist, and I did before he passed. But then it has some other ones that's out there that he also had trained. Now with that, Dr. Shaul, he made sure what people do it, and people use the Hebraist techniques, the methodologies. They use these things, and you find them in many different areas. You find them in many different aspects of occupations where they use these qualities that we have. And one of the things is to where we can go through and we can do many different analysis and different things to where we look at language. We pay real close attention to language. And within language, we find out things through cultures and to where they be used not just in what I'm doing here, but they're also used in legal areas to where we can find out things to come down to see if people have contradicted. And that's why I use this same technique. I use it to the Bible to see if I can find contradictions. I've been doing it for years. Can't find them, but I have to use this same techniques as a Hebraist to see what I can find based on that. Now I find them in NIVs, I find them in New King James Bibles, ESVs. I can show you contradictions in all of them. And even with the New King James Bible, I can show you where the New King James Bible and the NIV actually shows you where you worshiping Satan. I can show it to you. It's not something I just can tell you. I can physically show it to you and show you that if you use those Bibles, you're worshiping Satan. Which brings me to this letter. And I never did it, so most people are going to see the first time this is ever actually being professionally done, most likely over any type of web or anything of that sort, to where you see me using one aspect of the skills of a master Hebraist going through a letter to show you the mindset that was set in him. And I also open up to where even after this, then the same thing is I spoke to one of his children once before, which I didn't share with people, but I'm sharing with you now, and also with one of his nieces. And the same thing, I still open it up afterwards to where I'm pretty sure they will see this. But the main thing is, once I push this forward, anything that I have showed that was incorrect, and they tell me what I've showed was 100% wrong, and they can prove it by the same document, that I'm going to show that I have a dream speech letter. I will take down the video as well. I will close up King James Bible University Precept Mastery if they can show it. Because I know personally what I'm going to show you is 100% truth. And the only thing they can base it on, they can't tell me, well, no, he didn't mean this, he didn't mean that, he didn't mean this. No, they have to show me in the same document that I'm using his letter and say that what I showed was not true. So that challenge is there. But that challenge I'm going to show you is truth. Because I want you to understand something. And the same thing mainly I'm talking to the ones that is 7%ers. I'm going to call them the 7%ers, and that's no disrespect whatsoever, but this is just 7% of the people who really don't really understand the background of this man that I'm going to show you to you, that he was showing you who he was the entire time. And I need you to understand what was going on. Some people are going to have, and they showing much respect to this man based on what they really don't know. And you have people who will take people where they believe in somebody so much, they be willing to trade death for this person to live. Some people hold people at that high, great respect. And they killed King. King was killed. But the problem is, what most people don't understand, and why I want to make sure you clearly see what's happening here, but I want you to pay close attention And that's why I tell you these things, not sitting there telling you one thing, but I want you to pay close attention to my speech and what I say. It's important. Because King had to be killed. I want you to understand that. And with my moderators, I want them just to put that there, to just show you what's going on, because I want you to understand where we're coming from. But Martin Luther King, excuse me, he had to be killed. He had to be. There's no other way they could have did this. You see this on two notes. This is why King was killed by a white man and Malcolm X was killed by a black man. But Martin Luther King had to be killed. The reason why that's had to happen is because he needed to be a martyr. That's what he needed to be. He needed to be a martyr for that reason. A person who is killed because of their religious beliefs. Understand what I'm saying here. That's why I say I want you to really pay close attention to what I'm saying. Because some things I'm going to say almost coded. But if you look behind the words, you'll clearly understand what I'm talking about. So every time you sit there and you see people that witness individuals, you see people witness people as such, as Martin. The reason why you see this is with Martin, he was prepared to trade places for something that he himself knew what was going on. And when you trade places like this, for instance, when Yahushua or Jesus, we'll use Jesus for what people who knows this. When Jesus was crucified, he was given the honor. I want you to pay real close attention to what I'm saying. He was given the honor of dying for the sin of all the people of the world. I want you to pay real close attention to what I'm saying. He is being honored even until this day. They hold Jesus even as God, because he died for them. That's the highest honor that can be bestowed upon a person. Never looking at men who died on the cross who was next to him. They never looked really at them who was next to him. And truly was the worst sinners in all the world. You had a murderer on one side, you had a thief on the other. It was actually the biggest sin people committed. What would happen? I want you to keep this in mind as I'm going forward. What will happen to get that honor? Goes back to my first statement. He had to die. To be a martyr, you have to die. You see, other men did this. So we have to look at it in its fullness. What would happen if someone used the same identical blueprint to devise a strategy to wipe out an entire culture of people from the face of the earth? Now, with this person who's doing this, then we need to imagine to where we can attract a large group of people, and we can get this person to come in here, and they can attract a large group of people with a welcoming demeanor. Well-spoken and elegant speaker. One who can even say he believed in God, and he appeared to be looking for God all the time. Who is like God? For we're looking at the name. His name was Michael. Michael, which I even share that same name. But the name actually just means who is like God. Now, most people don't know Martin Luther King real name is Michael, but he changed it. So I don't change what they called him to. If he changed it, he changed it. He changed it legally, but he changed the name from who is like God, which matters the most, and he changed it to the name Martin. Martin. Martin actually means, when you're looking at the working foundation, means adversary of God. Most people don't know this. Martin has this name, an adversary of God. And he changed his name from Michael to Martin. You can go look it up, you'll find it yourself. You'll see this yourself. Everything I'm saying, you will see. And you have the ancients can target and get this people to follow this guy. Then followers who want to elevate to the character that mimics his, which he be to them is like God. The same person who can amass large numbers in these followers, which are blacks, will be eager to make ultimate sacrifices for this man. Their bodies, themselves. Meaning, if you're going to sacrifice your body has to go through something. Their bodies has to endure beatings and slayings, inhumane acts, even hangings. They permit others to abuse them, spit on them, jail them, beat their children, even kill them. And they get them to go even to where they do this martyr, they want to say as Jesus, they would get him even publicly to say, and they get people publicly to say, I forgive them that was responsible for those horrible acts of killing my mother, my father, my children, my brother, my wife, my husband. I forgive them. Because they're being like Martin. They're being like God in their eyes. Saying this, they're going to do the Christian thing. And being a Christian, and you look at it, you can even look in their books, in their dictionary, Christian means stupid. Which is an insult against the whole population of all people. This individual was referred to who can get people to do this, to do these things, and to understand how these things was done. These things were done by the Antichrist. To get you to believe this. To get you to believe in what you need to do and what need to happen. And I'm going to show you some scripture, and then we're going to look at this letter. But I want you to look at Isaiah chapter 9, but I'm going to pick it up at verse 15. I want you to understand something, because I want you to pay real close attention to what I'm saying. It says, the ancient and honorable, he is the head. The prophet that teaches lies, he is the tail. This man was a prophet. He wasn't a prophet of God. He was not a prophet of God, and these things I'm going to show you. He will, and he wanted to seek, and he wanted to usher an entire brand new ordinance. He wanted to put in a whole new thing. He wanted to put in a brand new order over the entire planet, known as King, is when people sing. So this man of sin, he had to die. And not only had to die, he had to be murdered. That's the interesting thing. That's the interesting thing. And as we look at this, we get the understanding of what's happening. So we look at this and we understand what's happening. And once he reached this martyr status, because if he would have died any other way, and I don't care how we look at this, King is always going to be looked at as a martyr. Always. You have Malcolm X. going to always be part of statistics. Just another black man killed by some more black men. You got statistics on one side, you got a martyr on another. So was Martin more, was he a studier of the Bible? That's the question that got to become, and why we have to approach it a certain way. If he was a studier of the Bible, then we got to find his writings in the Bible, in the letter. If we find them in the letter, we know he was a studier of the Bible. So the proof can be found in his writings, including if he twisted anything on the deception of Scripture he stated in his speech. We found some issues. I found some great deal of issues. And I have a dream speech. We see here where he's going to start out, and we're going to go to it in 1 second, but he starts out as the greatest demonstration of freedom. He starts this out with that. He's going to give you the greatest demonstration of freedom, but I want you to pay close attention on how he crafted the speech. He chose words to make sure we didn't know what they mean. But when people who say they're educated, play educated and not educated. You follow me? People who say they're educated, they play educated, but they're not educated. In Scripture, not even in the language of England. We want to see these things. We're going to see these demonstrations that we're going to go through. We see that Martin was a deceiver towards God, because God, he hated. He hated him for certain reasons, and I'm going to show you in the letter. These things you're going to see in the later. But I want to make sure we get some understanding here as we move forward here. We're seeing Psalms chapter 83, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. These things I'm showing you is going to be proof on why Martin said what he said and why he holds to what he holds to. Because it said, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They made a confusion, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against the hidden ones. Just telling you right up here and making sure we're clear. Making sure we're clear. They hate God. So the only way you can get back at God is to get back at his people. Because you can't get to God. God is a spirit. He understands that. King understand that. He understood that clearly. So the only way you can do that is go at his people. So what he did is, and why Yahweh he spoke this way, and we got to remember that this Bible is not talking about Martin, but it's telling you about the Antichrist, the ancient and honorable. He's the head. But the one who speaks to you is their prophet. They can come in human forms. They are the tail. They will teach you the lies. So to say Martin is Satan is crazy, because Satan is the head. The prophet that teaches the lies, Satan wasn't standing there teaching people lies. He was his prophet. You follow me? They taught the lies. When people sit there, oh no, this is Satan, that's Satan, that's Satan. No. Satan is the head. Satan have no reason to show up anywhere. He had prophets to go around. And that's why Christ even said, he said, if the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. This is why he's doing this. He did some things. He was publicly awarded for our destruction by Margaret Singer. Publicly awarded for killing children not yet born. Think about that. He was publicly awarded for this, to kill children not yet born, to help the annihilation of God's people. It was called human weeds. Everything good or evil. So these people was killed in what they did and what we got to look at and what we want to make sure we do. This is the whole bottom line about what's going on. So as we sit there and we look at this, we get a better understanding. We find out what is happening here. We see that these children was killed before they was even born, because these was the children of election. Let's look at something before we go into this letter. I want to show you what it tells you in Romans chapter 9, and we're going to pick it up at verse 11. Romans 9, verse 11, we're going to find out something here. It says, "For children being not yet born, neither done good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth." It was him that called them. It was him that chose who he chose. So we have people who chose the way of Esau. It's the way of sin, profane things God hates. He loved Jacob. He was a keeper of his flock. This was the purpose of God. They wanted to kill the child before they was born. To learn more about Martin, we have to examine the dream that Martin had. The "I have a dream" speech. This man is no longer seeing himself as a man. No longer seen as a man. But he sees himself as a God. He even speaks as a God. I want to show you where we're going to join with this letter. We're going to look at this letter in detail. We're going to go through the letter. And we see they have it and how it goes. And it tells you where August 28th in 1963. August 28, 1963. We have to look and tear down this letter. And he says, "I'm happy to join you today. I will go down today and will go down in history, comparing the greatest demonstration of freedom in history of our nation." You seen the video? We have it over there. You can see it. He says it. I just want to make sure, as what I'm reading, if you heard it, just say you heard him say it. That's all you got to do. Just say I heard it, or just put 100, whatever you want. But I want to make sure, because if not, I will show the video. But I just want to make sure we all on the same page, because as we go down, we're going to tear down this letter. But he's telling you what he's saying. He's telling you what he's doing. He's telling you what he's all about. He's telling you what he's demonstrating. And I'm going to show you something before we even go into that main part of it. I want to show you something, make sure we clearly on the same page all the time. I want to take you to something to show you how this man knew Scripture. I just want to show you how this man knew Scripture very well. And I'm going to take you over to 1 Corinthians. We're going to look at chapter 2, verse 4. He's telling you right here exactly what's happening. It says, "Including my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in the demonstration of spirit and of power." Why is it saying it this way? But he's using this as he's saying it's coming from something else. Martin, pretty slick, sharp guy. But I want to invite you to something. So when we look at this, I want to show you as we go through here, I'm going to show you some things where we're going to look at and we're going to tear down this and understand what is happening. So he's telling us the greatest demonstration. I want you to see this here. I'm going to put this over here. And we're going to sit there. And I want to show you, I got it sitting out. I want to make it a little bit bigger so you'll see where we're talking about. So he's saying the greatest demonstration. The reason this is the greatest demonstration, he's telling you this is proof and evidence, is why he's saying this is going to be the greatest demonstration. And if you go check anybody, legal, documented, anything on word and language, is he's telling you this is a demonstration. He's going to show you the proof and evidence is what he's telling you. It's right there. For freedom. And he's making sure this here you see. In freedom. The reason why I want you to make sure, that's why I say we have to make sure we understand some things here. I need to make this a little bit smaller because I want you to see what I'm doing here. So 1 second. I want to make sure this is where people can see more so what I'm doing. Because I'm going to put this here. Just give me 1 hot second. And I'm going to change it to where you can see what I'm doing. And that is good right there. You can see what I'm doing here. And I need to be able to make sure that was one way, but it's not, let me see, let me make sure this is, that's not doing that. So let me see if 1 second, because it got some opening at the bottom. I'm trying to sit there, well, let me do this. Let me go ahead, we're going to move it over because I want you to see what's happening here. So we see here, but I want you to make sure you can see the writings over here because I want you to see what I'm doing here. Can everybody see those wording there? Because if you see the wording, we'll make sure. If not, I just go back to the other way it was. But I want you to see what I'm doing. I want you to see what I'm doing completely. So this is why we want to make sure that we see it. And everybody's saying, yeah, they can see it. Okay, so we're good. So he's telling you we're doing this freedom in history of our nation. So he's making sure we understand this. So the nation is telling you, again, we're going to take this also. And I'm going to take that also. Now, 1 second. I'm going to make that larger to where we can see that one also. So we want to see this. We want to see these things. The reason I want you to see these things is because these are things that you have to pop out at and you have to look at. Now, I can write them in there, but I'm pretty sure they're putting them in the thing. So when he's talking about the nation, he's talking about their kind. I can even put that in there. When he's doing this, 1 second. 1 second. We'll put that in there. 1 second. Let me get that over there. Where is it? There we go. Why is it didn't do it? Oh, this. Let me see. There we go. This is what they're saying in a nutshell. This is what King is saying. In a nutshell. He's telling you exactly what he means. This is why this is going to be so important on what we're doing. So he's talking about their kind. And the same thing we can see in the other part, the greatest demonstration. I'm going to put this in there. This is the proof and evidence of freedom. So this is liberty. We're looking at what this is to where we can understand what's going on. Let me pull this down. Yeah. Okay. Now let me stretch this out. I'm going to stretch there. There we go. Now, so now we see this here. Got everything sitting there. So now we know the greatest demonstration, which is showing you the proof and the evidence, and the liberty, which is talking about the freedom, being set free. And actually, I need to put that there. That's how this actually works. That's how this actually works. And we want to understand what's going on. And we'll keep going down, and I highlighted what we need to focus on as we go through here. So he talks about, he says, 5 score years ago, the great American whose symbolic shadow we stand today. Symbolic shadow we stand today. And besides us guessing on what stuff is, we need to know exactly what things are. So that's why I'm showing you what these are. Actually, why they go back down to 14? I'll do it at 36. And I want you to see what's symbolic so we can understand what symbolic is. Serving as a symbol. That's really what this is. So I'm just telling you what this is. So that's why I'm writing it out. So I might spell something phonetically, just excuse me for that. And what I want to do is not that. Let me see. I want to highlight it. There we go. We'll just highlight it with that. We'll just leave it at that right now. Okay, so this is symbolic shadow. And this is shadow. We want that also. We want that also. So let's grab this one. And I can take out the symbolic, because we already have that. So we don't need this one here. But I want to make sure you understand where we're going at. So this shadow is telling you exactly what it is. And this is a repeating symbol. And literally, in language, when you're dealing with language, this is what he's telling you. And I just want to move this one here. Excuse me. Oh, I had that right the first time. So now, so we know it's saying this. It's saying, so who's serving as a symbol, excuse me, serving as this symbol, repeating symbol, we stand this day. That's what he's telling us. And as he goes through here, he's telling you about the sign of emancipation and proclamation. Ooh, excuse me. So what we're doing, we're just taking this down and we're going to tear it down. And this here is talking about liberation and I say setting free or release. We can use either one. We'll use either one. But this is what he's actually saying. And we're going to find out this is really going to start showing you this is his basis on what he's using. So now this in proclamation to where he's proclaiming something. You see, you got it here. I wonder, can I use this here? Actually, no. I'm trying to sit there to see. I want to put down this other one. And I want to put this one here. This proclamation, as well as we got this one. So the main thing what we want to make sure on what we got with these words here. It's this one. We want to understand everything he's saying, because if we don't know what he's saying, he can tell you anything and he can sell you anything. But we want to make sure we understand clearly what this man is saying. So the only way we can understand what he's saying, we're going to put him on the side. So this is a decree or a order or even a command. We can make a command or a rule. A order, or you can use it either way. That's what he's saying. So now we getting this and we're going through it. So now he's saying to sign this Emancipation Proclamation. He's telling you this liberation, setting free, this decree and this order command, or this command. That's what he's telling you. He says this monumentous, and he's telling you right here, and I want to highlight that, but I want to take this still over here. I don't need this, but I want to take this monumentous. I want to take those because we need to, and that is this important. Or we can even use, well, you can even use critical though. You can use critical. That you can use. So let's put this in there and understand what's going on here. So we just want to get what he's saying. So now we understand this monumentous, this important, this critical decree came as a great beacon. You see this decree on what we find out. So this great decree is an order. So we already got that there. So this proclamation is talking about this decree. So it's an order. But the main thing is, we're not going to let anything slide. We're going to put everything there. We want to understand what he's talking about. We want to understand what this is actually saying. So the main thing is, we want to put that there. We want to still put the decree there. We're not going to let the decree go. We're going to put it, oh shoot. We got to still put the decree right here. Let me see. Let me move that out the way. So we're going to put this decree there. And we're going to take out the monumentous. But we're going to put the decree because we still know what it is. But I just want to put this order or command. And we're going to put the equal sign there. And we're going to find out what all this, you're going to see as you're going to see it builds. In a minute, you're going to start getting you upset. But we see right here, it's talking about this decree, this order of command. This monumental decree came as comparing a great beacon of light. You see how he's putting this? This great beacon of light. I want you to understand what he's saying. So a beacon is talking about a light. So he's alluding to a beacon. Actually, I want to tell you what. We're gonna take this one. And he's saying this is a great beacon. That's what I want to do. I'm going to take this great beacon and actually I'm going to use something. We're going to take this great beacon and I'm going to show you something. 30 and 17. We're going to look at Isaiah 30:17. I want to show you something. And show you what he's doing. So let's go to Isaiah chapter 30. We're going to look at Isaiah 30:17. I want to show you what's going on here. It's telling you where he's starting to underlay this for us to really get us. It says 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one. Pay close attention to what's happening here. 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of 5 shall flee, till ye be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain, including as an ensign on a hill. You know, he actually uses this twice. He uses this twice. But we got to see it. We got to see this. And it's going to start really upsetting you in a minute, because the way he uses this is not cool. But let's go back to the letter. Let's go back to the letter. So now we see this great beacon of light of hope to millions of Negro slaves. Doing what? At the rebuke of one, left upon the top of a hill, top of a mountain, as an ensign on the hill. I don't want you to trip on what's going on here. So he says this, and we want to look at what's going on. He says, Negro slave who have been seared in the flames, withering injustice. I hope everybody is sitting down, because he's actually getting ready to speak. He's telling you, he's setting you up right now. And I want you to pay close attention, because it's saying this beacon of light of Negroes who has been seared in the flames of withering injustice. I want you to pay close attention to what he's saying here. And actually, in fact, let's do this. I want to take a couple of things. I want to take seared. I want to take this. And we're going to look at, and you're actually going to get upset, but that's okay. We have to look at what's going on. So seared, we want to look at what this is talking about, because it's telling you we've been lied to. It's what he's saying. We're going to see this. And besides saying it, actually, let's do it this way. We're going to look at 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 2. Why? Because I want you to see it. I want you to see how he's playing with this, and actually, and then we're going to come back, because we got to show another one, because he's going to show you both parts. So as you look at this and you see here, let's look at 1 Timothy. I want to show you something. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 2. This is why he's telling you in the way he is, and it's coded. It's telling you, one, it says, speaking lies, hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. But he's telling you this for a reason. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in latter times some should depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. I want you to keep that in mind. Don't change from what you see on Martin. I want you to understand what he's saying, but this is an injustice. The injustice that he's talking about, we got to look at also. We got to look at Sirach. And yeah, he used Sirach. Let's look at it. Chapter 40, verse 12. I'm telling you. It says, all bribery, including injustice, shall be blotted out, but true dealing shall endure forever. Pay attention to what he just said. Pay attention to what the Bible said. Let's go back and we're going to check something. Let's look at how this is matching up. And we got to put this in there, and now we want to sit there and see. Well, I can't get that, but the same thing is, we want to sit there and we want to grab the same part of injustice. We want to take that part. We want to take that part. So we're going to look at injustice. And then we're going to put everything together again. And I want you to show you injustice. So he's talking about with bribery. That's injustice, which is true. That is injustice. If you did it with bribery, that's injustice. The bribery he's using is what God told you what to do. But watch what happens here. So he's telling you right up front. Actually, we want to use Sirach. I want to put Sirach there. And we're going to put 40, verse 12. And talking about bribery. So we're talking about seared in the flames, so in his desires, withering injustice through bribery. And he said it came comparing the joyous daybreak. I want you to see how he's saying this. End of a long night in their captivity. To the end, daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. Negro slaves. Negro slave, they coming to the end. So we need to understand what all this is, what he's getting into. As he goes on, he says, but 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. Still not free. But I want you to pay attention to what he's using. He says, 100 years later, the Negro life is still sadly crippled in malices. Now, all he had to do, actually, I'm going to tell you what. Let me do this. What malices are. So we'll just understand what malices are. Actually, I'm going to do this on even the simplest ones. So malices. Even on the simplest ones. This talking about chains. Or handcuffs. Mainly chains. And I'm going to show you something. This is actually in scripture. Why he know what he was saying. And you see malices, which is crazy. Why did he use that actual name? I don't know. But he used this by malices. But I'm going to show you something. Really, really, really weird. In showing you he's using scripture to where it'll jog your mind back to it. I know it's in Sirach. Sirach. 21. We're getting ready to see it. 21:19. Watch what he's saying this. Watch how you do this. See, doctrine unto fools in the flitters on the feet, on the desires, and like malices on the right hand. So it's like chains on the right hand. But the doctrines unto fools. He's flipping this around on you. But most people are not going to see it until we go deeper into the lesson. But he's telling you up front. You believing in something that you don't see is where he's really holding you to. And he wants you to, well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But you can see he's shaping this a certain way. But most people, when they see the malice, they say, well, okay, that's cool. That sounds good. But it's not the truth. He's not showing you what he really wants you to see. He didn't hit it. He coded it. And if people be honest with themselves, they won't know what he was saying if you didn't tear this down. They wouldn't know what he was saying. And we're going to sit there, malices of segregation. Understand what he's using here. And segregation is telling you about what? Keeping you apart. So we just put that there. Keeping one, we just say apart. That's what they're doing. That's what segregation is. Separating you one from another. Keeping you apart. In all this, what I'm doing, you can actually go look them up if you want to. I promise you, you're going to come up with the same identical thing. Even though we're using scripture to define it, I promise you, you're going to see the same thing. And it's telling you right here, where now we see segregation, keeping one apart. And this is what he's holding you to right here. So now he's telling about the chains and handcuffs, which is keeping us apart. And it says, including the chains of discrimination. Including the chains of discrimination. And actually, we want to tell you what, let's take this part. Let's take this part. Discrimination. Because we want to understand what that's saying. Hey, man, this is, well, it won't let me take that, so actually that took it another way. But discrimination is just telling you about with the unjust and the prejudice and the treatment it's talking about. I wonder, can I get it to where I can write it in? And let me see. Well, it won't let me take it. That's okay. But we see what's going on there. So we see the discrimination there. Calling it what it is. And it's grounds for when discrimination, we have to look at discrimination a couple of ways. And I want to make sure as we move forward, you understand what it is. So discrimination in where it talks about prejudicial treatment and stuff like that, it'll put you in categories of people, especially for the grounds of discrimination. It can be based on ethnicity. It can be based on your age. You can be discriminated against your sex. You can be discriminated against your disabilities. That's what discrimination is. That's what it is in a nutshell. And I just want to make sure before we move forward, everybody look at this and make sure we say the same thing and we hold it on what it is. We're holding it to what it is. And I do see on there, oh yeah, they got it in two places. Okay, but the main thing is I just want to make sure you understand. Just say yes if you understand what discrimination is. Just put yes, because I want to make sure as we move forward. So he's telling us that this discrimination, see, it can be based on ethnicity. It can be based on age. It can be based on sex. It can be based on disability. Just want you to understand, because that's when you have to describe or you have to prove discrimination. It has to be based on these things. That's what it has to be based on. I want you to pay attention to what's going on there. That's how you have to find out what is happening. It can't be based on anything else. Only on those grounds. On ethnicity, on age, on sex, or disability. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Just like I said, pay attention closely to my speech. Discrimination can only be on the grounds of ethnicity, on age, on sex, or disabilities. Please pay attention to what I said, because then you can go check that, and that is your basis for discrimination. That is your basis in a court of law. That's your basis at your job. And you can go look at it anywhere. That's what they're going to base it on right there. And he's saying the same thing. So let's look at this. It says 100 years later, the Negroes live on a lonely island of poverty. It's telling you right there. So we're being discriminated against from being on an island of poverty. In the midst, so we are among, midst don't mean nothing but among a vast ocean of material things you can see prosperity. You guys with me? I'm seeing if I can get this again. There we go. Material prosperity. I want to put that there. I want to put this there. In its material prosperity. Everybody follow me. I want to make sure everybody's okay. Everybody's okay? Just say yes or no. But everybody's okay. Cause we getting ready. See, you're gonna see he's building up to something that he want to make sure you caught up in. But everybody's okay. Everybody's okay. They all right. Good. Okay, so now we're looking at this where he says, we on this lonely island. We in America, but in America, we all by ourselves, and we are Negro slaves, and we still be in the same position all the time. I want to invite you somewhere. I want to take you somewhere. I want to take you here. I'm not going to take you anywhere. We might look at it again, but I want you to remember this. And I'm going to take you there. I want you to see it. I want you to see it here clearly. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 23, and we're going to look at verse 6. And I want you to pay attention to it because it's in the law. 23, verse 6. I want you to pay attention to something. And you're going to see he craftily separating everything that's going on. Now, we can start at verse 5, but we're going to focus on verse 6. And he says this. It says, nevertheless, the spirit of thy God, of your God, thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the spirit of thy God loved you. That's what he's saying. It says, now thou shalt not seek peace nor their prosperity all the days forever. I'm going to let that sink in while I'm switching it over. I'm going to let that sink in. It says more even in another place. It says more in another place. But you see here, he slipped this in. And he's telling us right now, Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. We're looking at what everybody else have in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. Is that sinking in on everybody? I just want to make sure, is everybody saying the same thing I see? Do you see, that's a yes or no, do you see what I see? Because he's building up as we go. If you see this, we should have one too. If you see that, you should have one too. If you see this over there, you should have that too. You see, he's saying it right here. He's saying it right here in front of you. Now, let's keep moving. We got a lot of people there. One friend put in there, you didn't have to put that in. You're going to put a coveting in the LOL. You didn't have to say it that way. But that's fine. Yeah, but calling it what it is, you could have just said yes, but that's cool. You sitting there just going to call it what it is. What is it? Coveting. You're just going to say what it is. Who was that said? I want to see who said that. Oh, man, who said that? Brother Anthony Hicks. Okay. He could have said yes, but he going, oh, no, that's coveting. Yeah, that's coveting. You right. You 100% right. Can't change it. It is what it is. But we here. We're here. So the same thing. Let's move further. We got to move further with it. So now it says 100 years later. Pay attention to what he's saying. 100 years later, the Negro, us, is still language in the corners of America. We need to look at something. I'm going to show you something right here. We're going to take out that part. We want to take out that part. Because I want to show you what everything is. Just like I said, we're going to, anything that's might be, I need to show, I'm going to make sure. So meaning despair or forsaken or from us. That's what language mean in the in the terms of the world. That's all I'm telling you what it means. I'm just showing you what it means in the England language. That's what despair, that's what language is. It's despair. We can't get it. It's not with us. That's all that is. So when we see this, it's language. We can't get it. So in the corner of America, we find ourselves, we on this island, and it's forsaken. We can't get it. You can see it, but you can't get it. I want you to stay with me on this, and we see it. What's going on. So it says American society finds himself in exile on his own land. Yeah, I didn't know that was our land, but that's okay. But you see what he's saying? We are forsaken on our own land. And it says, including, and so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. I need to put that there. We need to put this there. He's going to dramatize this. So we're going to dramatize this. So this is dramatized is like he's saying legally is like a novel, or or a movie, or play or movie. We can use it that way, or play, movie or play. We can use that, but it can also be like a movie to dramatize it, to where you can see it. This shameful condition. That's what he wants us to see. So everybody with me. I want to make sure everybody's seeing what's going on here. So now he want to show you this shameful condition. He wants people to see this. So he goes on more as he goes through. We want to look down here. And we're going to... It says, in a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to cash a check. Okay. If I start laughing, somebody just tell me to stop. Tell me to stop. Because I'm looking at the chat also. But if I just start laughing, just stop. Just stop. Because I'm telling you, because it actually gets funny on what this guy has done. But it says that he said, so we come to the nation's capital to cash a check. I just like to know what check we got. I'm really just trying to find out what check we got. I didn't know we had a check. He said we got a check. Okay. Somebody got a check. Somebody got a check. Somebody need to cash this check. I don't know who got the check, but I don't know. It says, when the architects of our republic, I just have to put this here. When you see what stuff actually means, you see kind of, and we'll go back through it after we get all everything of our republic. We want to see what this republic is talking about. And this republic is talking about the state or the power. Held by, and they can be elected representatives. Sentat. So that's what that's. And you can even use presidents and all that. So we're just using elected powers or stuff like that. That's what that's doing. So this is what this is doing. So now, this is our elected republic. That's why I'm saying the architects of our elected republic, the powers which held elected representative or held by elected representative is what that is. That's what this is saying. So it can be presidents, everybody else. But then it tells us more so, where it's getting into it. It said, wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution. Boy. hopefully everybody is sitting down. I just want to make sure everybody is sitting down the entire time, because I will not be blamed for any slippages, falls, heart attacks. I can't do it. So what this is talking about is, this is talking about covenants. This is talking about laws. You got to remember what they're saying. And traditions. That's what the Constitution is. Most people don't even know this. So we kind of ahead of the scape. So when you see a constitution, the Constitution is telling you. Actually, I want to tell you what. Let me show you something. And I'm gonna tell you something. He used Sirach a lot. Whoever helped him write this, because he didn't write this himself. I promise you, he didn't write this himself. And we're gonna look at Sirach chapter 30. I want to go to Sirach chapter 30. In 30, we want to look at verse 14. We're going to break down verse 14. Bingo. It says, better is the poor. Pay close attention to what's going on. Better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. Did you catch it? Poor. I'm telling you, some of us missing this, so I'm going to explain it. Okay, better is the poor being sound and strong constitution. So better being poor. It's better for you to be poor, but with strong laws that set on you, actually to keep you that way, than a rich man with afflicted in his body. That's what the scripture's saying. Because your riches is where? I just want to make sure where your riches. You tell me where your riches is supposed to be. On earth or in heaven? Where are your riches? On earth or in heaven? That's simple. Yeah. It's in heaven. So if it's in heaven, better is poor. Actually, let's look at one. We can sit there and see one real quick. Why do you think it says this? In Revelation chapter 2, in verse 9. See, don't think that they don't know this. It's sitting right here. It says, I know thy works, thy tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not. They are the synagogues of Satan. I'm telling you, don't think. So your riches is not here. But then also he wants you to come cash a check. So that's beside the point. Now we looking at that and we understand it. So now we seeing what's going on. And we have to look at this Declaration of Independence. We want to see that also. I got to put this there also. Because we want to know what declaration actually is. We might well know what it is. But this is a written record or report. Or that's what a declaration is. That's what a declaration is. So now, as it's saying, this constitution, this covenant, this laws and traditions, including the written record or report of independence. That's all it was saying the entire time. That's all it's saying. And oh boy. Okay, so as he's saying this, it's saying they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. You guys saying this? This is, yeah, I'll play it. Dare me, I'll play it. Because he's saying all this. He says, this note was a promise to all men. Yes, black men as well as white men would be guaranteed unalienable inalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Now I'm going to tell you, actually I want to show you something. How can I get this? I want inalienable rights. I want that. Actually, I'm going to put that here. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put this here because I want you to see what it actually is. Unalienable. So in this, it's telling you about nothing but natural. Which he could have just said that. But he's not telling you this stuff. So he's telling you about to where you should have natural rights of life. Now, if you pay attention, when he said this note was promised to all men, yes, black men, I challenge you. I challenge everyone to what he just lied on. Because he told you a bold-faced, unadulterated, low-down, dirty dog lie. Because one, slavery of blacks in the Constitution. Please go check it. Tell anyone who sit there and they tell them about, oh, I marched with Martin. The same thing, Jesse Jackson, that Black Eagle guy, whoever you want to sit there and march on. You tell them, go look in the Constitution. Not only do the Constitution do not make a reference to blacks or whites, but it does not even discuss that the slave in the intuition of slavery. Slavery is really referred to as humans throughout the entirety of the text. It's craziness. In order to emphasize their humanity. The observation that it was wrong in the Constitution is a concept. Think about that. It's a concept that there might be property in men. There might be property in men during the conference and when they drafted the Constitution. Slaves are referred to in the Constitution using the distinct phrases. I'm going to show you. You can go look in Article 1. You can go look in Section 2. You can look in Clause 3. It's going to tell you specifically. Persons in a state now existing shall think proper inanimate in Article 1, Section 9, Clause 1. A person held in service or labor in one state under the law state. You see how they playing this. Section 4, Section 2, Clause 3. Nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere in the Declaration of Independence, for the matter of a human being of any kind is under the classification. Remember what I said from the beginning. They're not under the classification of a race, skin color, ethnicity. Nor one added to the sex, religion, is left to be preferred as a classification. So when you look at this, the guided idea of the influence by a race, although our history is regrettably has not been nothing but slavery, he lied to you. People, citizens, individuals, other persons, a term for slaves. People, citizens, individuals, and Indians were not even subject in the time they made a clause. They were not subject to taxation. That's why they're having so much. That's why they're trying to change it now. All terms that appear in the Constitution, that which is tax exempt for them, is not, don't even, their skin color don't even matter. They're not even speaking of skin color. The promise of the right to vote in the 15th Amendment was enacted in 1870. Think about that. Contains the first terms race or color. Think about that. This is what the problem is. Let's go back. Let's deal with some of the letter. And got to deal with y'all, man. So he's telling us this and what we got to look at. So he says, obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note. On a note to who? On a note to blacks? On a note to blacks, he's lying. He's telling you a bold-faced lie. Why do you think he started it? We'll come to it. I'm telling you. Okay. Promissory note, insofar as her citizens, you see how he said, as so far as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring the sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check. When? Where? Show it in the Constitution. You can't find it. He's talking words and made a bunch of people believe a lie. He said that the American has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has came back marked insufficient funds. He lied again. You see it right here. He's telling you right here in his letter that he spoke. People, yeah, this man lying through his teeth. They don't even know the Constitution, but people holding on to the Constitution, and he's telling you something that is not even in the Constitution. Let's go a little bit further. It says, but we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. I'm telling you, you can't change this. This is why his children will not refute this, because it's getting ready to get extremely worse. But let's look at it. It said, it is obvious today America has defaulted on the promissory note. So far as the citizens of color of concern, instead of honoring the sacred obligation, America have given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe the bank of justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in this great vault of opportunity of this nation. He won his cut. Why do you think you got these people asking for reparations? He won his cut. And it says, and so we have come to cast this check. What check? You wasn't brought here to get a check. You was brought here for disobedience. We sold ourselves. But that's okay. It says the check that will give us upon the demand of riches, of freedom, and security, of justice. But it get worse now. It get worse. It says, we have come to this hallowed spot. He's talking about a separated holy place. King. It says, to remind America of the fierce urgency is now. He's talking about this got to go down. This has to go down quickly. Well, he gets better. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off, or to take transquizzling drug of gradualism, which transquizzling he shouldn't have never used, but he's very shady on when he did that. Because let me show you. There we go. Let me take this. See, and this is the thing. When he out there speaking this, look at how many people was out there and didn't understand a word this man said, and they clapping. Because this is transquizzling. That I can't say phonetically. And this is what that is. This is what that is. A calming effect. And then he telling you the drug of granulism. You see how shady. Actually, let me put it down. I want to show you what he's saying. So, yeah, you see, he using granulism, so it's another thing. But I'm gonna show you what it actually is. And this is really using the hypothesis on the evolution of a gradual change. That's really what he's using. That's what this actually. I'm gonna tell you what. Let me see the best way to put this. Of everybody understand that part, because that's the best way for me to explain it. It's something that has subtle. It changes over time. But it's gradual. That's why you're using gradualism. And I just want to make sure that people are understanding what that is saying. So that's why he's using that. The hypothesis of a evolution of gradual changes. That's what he's saying. So good. Everybody understand where I'm coming from. Good. Because other than that, I was going to say I might have a problem, because that's the best way for me to explain that. But that's what that actually means. So if you look it up, I'm pretty sure they're going to say it. They might say it another way. But what it is, it's an evolution of a gradual change. That's what it's going to get into. It's talking about a gradual change. That's what he's saying. He says, so there's no cooling off period or to take a tranquility. So he's telling you this, a drug, a granular, take this gradual change, it's going to change. He says, now is the time to make real promise to democracy. See, that's why he's saying, no, we got to do this now. We ain't going to wait. We ain't going to let it just change over time. We're going to make him do it now. That's what he's saying. That's what's coming out of his mouth. Let's look at this a little bit more. He says, now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation. You already know what he's talking about, this being separated, into the sunlit path for racial justice. So he's saying, no matter what, y'all, we want our cut. Now is the time to lift the nation from quicksand to racial injustice to a solid rock brotherhood. No matter what, we got to be like y'all. In a nutshell, we have to be one. Actually, I'm telling you, this y'all guy. This y'all guy, but I want to show you something. We're gonna go. I want to go over here. We want to look at First Maccabees, chapter 1. I believe it's verse 41. If I'm not mistaken, verse 41. And King Antiochus, he wrote to the whole kingdom. I'm telling you, he playing from their playbook. It says, moreover, King Antiochus, also surnamed Epiphanes, wrote to the whole kingdom that we all should be one people. King said, sexy chocolate. He's sexy chocolate. Yeah, we got to be one people. We got to be the rock of one brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. We all join together under one. Let's see, that wasn't quite showing. So let me make sure you can see it. So you see what he's playing here. You see how he's playing this. But it get worse. We got to be one. Martin's sitting there, no, we're one. Y'all got us here. Buffy driving a BMW, and you got me in this broke down Toyota. And this is the land of opportunity. All this stuff I won't be part of. But let's go further, because it's almost done. So he gonna wrap this up real nice in a bow for us. He gonna wrap this up in a bow. It says, it will be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of this moment. Y'all crazy if y'all overlook this. I want the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. The sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until the invigorating autumn. He's got you. But I'm going to tell you what it means. That's the problem. I'm going to tell you what it means. So he catching you on a lot of stuff. He catching us on a lot of stuff. So I'm trying to get this. Yeah, there we go. I want you to get this invigorating autumn. So we want to get that what that's saying. We want to get what that is saying. Because long as we understand what it's saying, we can know where we stand with him. So this invigorating, we need to know what invigorating means. So it's talking about making someone strong. I'm trying to figure out what word they would use for this. That'd be a better. It's one. That's what it is. Invigorating. Really, what that is. It's making one feel strong. That's what that is. And it's telling you in autumn. In autumn. He's key. I'm talking. This is why I know he didn't craft this himself. I know he didn't craft this himself. The reason why, one, he travels too much. Two, if he was able to craft this, he would have seen what the entire truth was. So I know he didn't do this himself. So this is using like the statement for seasons. This is how I know he didn't craft this himself. Because based on how this is laid out, structurally, we know that he didn't do this. So now he's telling you, it says this invigorating, this, and he says, now, he says, discontent will not pass until there is a making one feel strong in this season of freedom and equality. That's what he's telling you. Y'all got a sexy chocolate. What's on the sexy chocolate? That's why you're doing this. It says 1963 is not but in the beginning. But if you ever notice, he said black people don't want to run for no office, no political positions. If you go look back at it, you even see he says it in the Margaret Sanger letter. You see he even said that even in the letter. You'll see he's saying this clearly. We never looking for this. But watch what happens. Because it's getting worse. It says, those who hope that the Negro need to blow off steam and will now be content to have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. I'm up here telling y'all what we need to do, but y'all gonna see what he did. He gonna catch you. He gonna catch you in a trick bag. He says, neither will be neither rest nor tranquility. Ain't gonna be no tranquility. That ain't happening. But what is he saying with the tranquility? Same thing. He already said this common effect. Yeah, okay, well let me put that there. We might well put this there. I don't want to make y'all too mad, so let me just put that there. Because I could put it up there with tranquil, but this more so what it's actually saying. We just need to know what it means. That's what this is saying. But I want you to understand how he's doing this. That's the point of the teardown of the letter. So he's telling you. So he said, there will be neither rest nor tranquility, meaning peaceful and calm in America until the Negro is granted citizenship right. We got to have our rights. The only reason I'm laughing to keep from crying. This dude finna sit there and tell you how stupid we need to be. Out his own mouth. And they said, oh, this guy is a genius. No, he's not. He's a fool. But that's besides. So he goes on. So he said, the whirlwind of revolts. Look how you say, we gonna revolt. So, well, let's see. Let's actually let's put this down here. Why does it keep doing that? Well, let me just put votes there. Revolt. Let me just put revolt there. We'll put revolt. In revolt, it's talking about rebellion. Literally, that's all it means. I even hate to tell you what he's talking about doing that. So he's gonna do rebellions, a whirlwind of them. He's telling you it's gonna be a whirlwind of revolt. Do you understand what a whirlwind of revolt is? I'm gonna put it in here. That's what he's talking about. He gonna do. He gonna be a whirlwind of these. We gonna march, and we gonna march, and we gonna march, and we gonna march, and we gonna keep on marching. But we gonna do it peacefully. We gonna drive them crazy and peaceful marches. Watch how you think I'm playing? Watch what he says. We will revolt, continue to shake the foundation of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. Watch what happened. He can't help himself. He in the moment now. Watch what he says. He says, but there's something that I must say to my people. I have to say this to my people who stand in the warm threshold which leads into Palace of Justice. Palace of Justice, talking about white. That's why he's down there where he's at the White House. He says, the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Now I'm gonna tell you, this is well, let me leave him alone. I wasn't gonna say a bad word, but I was gonna say something more about him. But I'll let you come to that determination. Wrongful deeds. So what he's saying is, he using marches, and he's saying that's gonna make him so mad. That's wrong. This is what he's telling you. He's telling you this out of his own mouth. These wrongful, he said, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds, because he's telling you, we're going to march. Oh, they said what? They said what? We're going to march. That's a revolt. That's a revolt to him. It says, let us seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. And he's telling you this right up front. You're going to drink from this cup. You can't beat this. Of bitterness and hatred. That's what he wants you to drink from. He wants you to drink from this. This bitterness and hatred. Meaning this. As you march, they're going to be really hot, and they're going to get upset with us, and they're going to start doing things to us. Martin telling you this, but he's telling you, but we got to stay calm, because this wrong to do, but we going to do it. This unlawful to march, but we going to march. Watch what he's saying. We must ever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. That was your setup. That was your setup right there. He just set you up. Dignity. Let's look at this. We're gonna look at this all together. So he's telling us how we got to do this. We got to do this on dignity and discipline. And see, and this is why they can't even dispute this, because even Bible wise, it's telling you being glorious ones, which is what it actually is. That's with dignity. And let me make it larger. I'm gonna put the other one right up under it. Being glorious ones is what he's saying. With discipline. You see what he's saying? With discipline. So with this discipline, you're gonna receive some things. So with discipline is with that's what he's telling you. This is actually what discipline means. He's telling you this right up front. We're going to go in there, we're going to be the glorious ones, and we're going to take chastisement and punishment, and they're going to be mad. Coming out of his mouth. You're going to get beat down, and they're going to be mad. And we're going to be high plane of discipline, dignity. We're going to be glorious ones when they beat us down. We must not allow, I had to highlight this. Wait a minute. You have to see this. This is the crazy part. You must not allow. Watch what he's saying here. I'm telling you, he says, we must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. He's telling you, so when they beat you down, don't resort to violence. Degenerate. Actually, I put this in degenerate, meaning become disloyal. He's telling you right up front. Don't become that way. Don't become disloyal. He's telling you right out of his own mouth. Don't do this. Stay, don't degenerate to that. Actually, I want to tell you what. Let me look at something. I'm telling you. Let's go to Jeremiah. Let's look at Jeremiah. I want to show you something. Jeremiah, we could have went to a couple of places on a couple of other ones, but let's look at Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah chapter 2. Jeremiah chapter 2. And we're going to look at something here in verse 21. Verse 21. I'm telling you, you can't make this up. It says, "Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?" How? You know he's using that. You know he's using that. Because he's quoting that. You can't become disloyal. That's why he's saying this. He's telling you this right here. We must not disallow our creative process and become degenerate. We can't become disloyal. We got to resort. We got to get this beat down. Let him beat us down. Joey, let him beat you real good. Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, Joey. Yeah, Joey. He just broke your jaw. That's good, Joey. Oh yeah, he gonna feel bad for that when he get home. That's what he's telling you. It says again and again, we must rise. Every time they beat you down, get back up. Let them beat you back down. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. You got to keep getting this beat down, keep getting this beat down, keep getting this beat down, just keep getting up. They're going to feel bad in a minute. I promise you they're going to feel bad. I'm telling you, they're going to feel bad once they done beat us this. You're going to feel real bad behind this. They're going to think about it. They're going to sit there like, man, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I done went through this. Man, did you see, man, I hit them and we can't be doing this no more. Man, I hit him, man, I broke his jaw. And I don't know why I broke his jaw, man. I shouldn't even broke his jaw. I feel so bad, man. I'm going to go down to the jailhouse and I'm going to sleep in the jailhouse. Yeah, dude. It's Martin. But it gets better. He's winding down. Now you see he winding down here. So we come into this here where we going to get where he going to really start, he going to reel you in. So now he's saying this marvelous new malicy. Did anybody catch it? I'm telling you. See, this is why I sit there and say, people, I just had it. There we go. I want that right there. I want this one. This is the one I want. See, this is what I'm saying. Most people, if they be honest, they didn't know what this stuff meant. But this malicy. This is being, this new confrontational and violent by marching. That's what he's telling you, this malicy. I'm telling you. And violent, and I put in literally this is how he's holding it. Literally this is how he's holding it. So this new malicy being confrontational and violent by marching and getting beaten. See, that's what he's telling you. Which is engulfed in the Negro community must not lead us to distrust all the white people. Oh, man. Oh, boy. You don't have to distrust all white people, because all white people ain't bad, same as all black people ain't evil. Oh boy. Okay, let me see. It's saying so it's engulfed in our community, not lead us as you getting beat. You getting the heart, you getting tore down, you getting beat down, your mama got killed. Don't let that lead you to distrust anybody. They still cool. They still cool. No. Go back out there, Joey. Joey, I know he gonna hit you, Joey. Don't worry about it. Let him beat you. Yo, he spit on you? Oh, okay. Did he spit bad? Oh, okay. It's okay, Joey. Just go out there and let him know, and he gonna go home tonight and he gonna feel sorry for it. Right there. I'm telling you. To distrust white people, for many of our white brothers, remember, we all one people. As evidenced by their presence here. So see, you see these people here with us? You got them here. They cool with us. Did we say all white people are bad? No. Did we say all black people are good? No. You got good and bad and everywhere. But he needs you to be complacent, so when you get beat down and get beat down proudly. get beat and be happy about it. Show up to work and say, man, what happened? Man, they beat me down, man. They tried to kill me. I got away, but they tried to kill me. Oh, dude, man, really? Man, where did you go, man? I might can go over there and make them mad and march, and then they can do me and make them feel bad when they get home. Okay, somebody told me, yeah, because I'll be the real. I'm gonna stop. I promise I'm gonna stop. Let me move forward. Let me move forward. Let me move forward. Oh, okay. But it's saying this. So you're saying white people and many of our brothers is evidence as the present here today have come to realize that their destiny is tied up in our destiny. Oh, Martin. Oh, Martin Luther King. It says, and they come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound in our freedom. Are you serious? Most people don't know what that says. But I'm gonna show you what inextricable means. I need to show you what it means, the way we can get what he's talking about. And he's saying this for a particular reason. Because what it's telling you, this, I'm trying to remember it, this, disentangle, yeah. Disentangle. That's what I'm trying to. That's what he's telling you. That's what he's telling you. Literally, he's using it. This is why I'm sitting there saying most people don't know what he is saying. But you see what he's saying. So as he's telling you, it's strictly bound to our freedom. So it's telling you it's impossible for them to disentangle or separating one from another. You can't separate from us. We here. We here, dude. Beat me, man. Dude, come on. Okay. Why you kicking little Joey? You need to go on a timeout. You need to go on a timeout, man. You broke little Joey back. I'm telling you. It's Martin. You can't get around it, but watch what he said, because it gets worse. And it says, and as we walk, we must pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. We can't turn back. We got to keep on marching. We got to keep getting this beat down. That are those who are asking to devote of civil rights. When will you be satisfied? When you stop beating on me. When you stop beating on me. It says, we can never be satisfied as long as Negroes is the victim of unspeakable horrors of police brutality. The police wasn't the main ones beating us. It was people. That's beside the point. It says, we can never be satisfied as long as our bodies, which is heavily fatigued in the travel. Oh, please pay attention to what he's getting ready to say here. It ain't talking about anything else. Watch how petty this is. We'll never be satisfied. Our bodies are heavily fatigued of travels. Cannot gain lodging in motels of the highways and hotels of the cities. Dude, we can't even get to hotels. Dude, we can't even get in here, man. What's going on, dude? Why you can't let me stay here, man? Why you can't let me stay here, guy? Please, let me stay here. No, you can't stay. Why? Why, guy? You want to beat me? Come on, you can go outside. You can beat me up. You want to beat me up? Then let me. Oh yeah. No, you're gonna be. I can bleed from the inside, so you can break my ribs and stuff like that. But if you hit me in the face, I'm gonna bleed. Then I bleed on your sheets. I'm telling you. That's this guy. But it gets better. It says, heavily fatigued in the travel, the highways, hotels. It says, we cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro in Mississippi cannot vote, and the Negro in New York believe he is nothing for which to vote, no one. We are not satisfied. We will not be satisfied until justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Martin himself. It says, I am not unmindful that some of you come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of y'all got beat before you got here. I'm telling you. Some of y'all then came. Yeah, man. Oh man, yeah, man, I'm all right, man. Yeah, he just broke my arm, but I got to make sure. Yeah. Oh man, he felt so. Yeah, when he heard the pop, he couldn't believe he did it. Yeah, how did he look, man? He felt kind of bad about it. Good for him. It says, and some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells. You can't make this up. You cannot make none of this up. But watch this. It says, some of you come from areas which request for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution, staggered by winds of police brutality. But you gotta remember, he's sitting there saying, but when you march, oh, that gonna make them mad, but it's illegal. We shouldn't be doing it. But watch this. Ye have been veterans of creative suffering. You a veteran, creative on how you gonna suffer. Because I'd have told y'all, march non-violently. And guess what? It's still embedded in the very fabric of the black man today. What happened? Let's march. What happened? Let's march. What happened? Black Lives Matter. Let's march. What happened? Let's march. Dang, that. Oh, I'm gonna tell you what. John got shot down by 400 cops because he pulled out his cell phone, and they shot him 900 times. So we meeting. What we gonna do? I'm gonna tell you what. Everybody, I don't know. One stand up. I know what we can do. What we gonna do? Let's march. That's it. Let's march. We gonna march down the streets. That's gonna make them mad. It says, continue to work with faith. You see faith? You see that? Trust, belief, and actually let me put this down here. Because I want you to understand what he's actually using. Faith. Trust. And confidence. So we have to watch, we have to work with the faith, the trust, the belief, and confidence that unearned suffering is redemptive. Redemptive tells you everything. Actually, I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it there the way you'll know what he's saying. Redemptive. Why is redemptive there so important? Because he's telling you what you got to be doing. You know, this. That's what it's telling you. Redemptive. So it's telling you our unearned sufferings, the saving them from the air, killing us, hanging us, and them doing wrong. Redemptive. Literally what it's, please go, they can go check all of it. It says, go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to South Carolina, go back to Georgia, go back to Louisiana, go back to the slums, the ghettos, the northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation will be changed. It says, now let us not wallow. Now he's going to talk about God. He started off talking about God, but now he's going to get into it. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. We need to know what despair is. We go through it all the time, but we need to know what despair is talking about. Because most of us don't know what despair actually means. Most of us don't have the slightest idea what despair is meaning. Meaning you are forsaken. But let's look at this and let's look at this. And it's telling you where we just forsaken. And we're in the valley of forsaken, is what he's saying. That's where we are. So he's telling us what's going on. In fact, actually, I want to tell you what, I want to show you something before I go further. I want to show you this and make sure that we got this all together. So, because I want to make sure that we can't get around it. So the same thing is, I want to show you Ezra. The reason why I want to show you it for a particular reason. I want to show you something about Ezra. In Ezra chapter 9, verse 12, I'm going to show you in two places. Because he really wants stuff here. And it's telling us stuff what not to do in the Bible. He's going to tell you contrary. So that's why I want to show you this before we get into it. It says, now therefore, in Ezra chapter 9, verse 12, it says, now therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons, your daughters, where you going to be to their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace, nor or their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and eat good of the land and leave for an inheritance to your children forever. You see what he's saying there, and we already looked at Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 6, which I'm going to put right here to where we understand again what he was talking about from the beginning. So 23 and verse 6, he tells us this right up front. It says, thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all the days forever. So this we know. We know all this. All this stuff we know. But it gets good. But he's telling us. So he's saying, so we shouldn't wallow in this, my friend. You see, my friend, even though we face difficulties today and tomorrow. But you see what he's saying? I still have a dream. Oh, Martin. Oh, Martin. We want to know what that dream is, and I'm going to show you what this dream is. Let's put this dream here and understand what a dream is. In a dream, remember what a dream is. That's what a dream is. A dream is vision and prophecy. That's what a dream. And he has one. He has one. Actually, let me see. But I put that up there 1 second. Let me put that there 1 second, you guys. Give me 1 second. I'll put that there. And then I hold up and let you see it. So the same thing is, we see right there where he's talking about this. He says, I still have a dream. He's telling you this right here. I still have a dream. And the dream is a vision and prophecy. This is what's up. This is a vision and prophecy. And with this vision and prophecy, it says, with this vision and prophecy, it is a vision and prophecy deeply rooted in American dream. Coming right out of Martin's mouth. I'm telling you, You see how he's building up. He's building this up to this big climax. It says, I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live the true meaning of this creed. But most people don't know what a creed is. See, that's the problem. People will sit there, just like I said. We quick to sit there and not really look at what something that he's saying means. Is why he used these words, because he knew he can deceive you. A creed is talking about a religious belief in faith. Let me see. Religious. So let me put that all there, and we'll see. You know, everything I'm putting in, please check it. So that's what he's saying. So he says, live out the true meaning of this religious belief in faith is what he's telling you. He wants you to understand where he's coming from. He's building this up. And it's telling you, we hold these truths, that's what he's telling you, these religious beliefs in faith, to be self-evident to all men are created equal. oh Martin. How Rain Man said, my man Martin. My man Martin. Oh man Martin. He said, I have a dream that one day the red hills of Georgia, the sons of the former slaves, the sons of the former slave owners, will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. Hey, Negro, come here. Sit at the table with me. Sit at the table with me. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. This is just how I go. Actually, I'm gonna tell you what. Before we get cranked, let me show you one more verse. So when we get there, we ain't gonna have to deal with it real quick. But let me show you something. I want to show you something. Just come to me. We're gonna look at Ezekiel. I want to look at Ezekiel, chapter 11. Chapter 11. No, chapter 37. I don't know why I'm thinking 11. Why I'm thinking 11. I don't know. Chapter 37, verse 11. I'm getting old. Getting old. Okay. Seeing it right here. It says, then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are whole, house of Israel. Remember, I say, our bones are dry, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Why I say this? Martin using this. That's why I wanted to go to this, because Martin's going to use this. And we got to remember a couple of things. I'm going to go to another part, and then we're going to go back to what we're doing. And I want to make sure we see these things here. And we're going to look at this in Ezekiel chapter 19, verse 5. I knew that one was right there. 19, verse 5. It says, and when I saw that she, the spirit, had waited, and her hope was lost, then she took another of her whips and made him a young lion. This Martin. I'm telling you, you'll see how they did it. You'll see how they did it. This is why I put that there, so we can deal with what we're dealing with. So just keep those in mind. So we sitting there, we seeing this. He said, I have a dream that's deeply rooted in the American dream. The dream is one day the nation will rise up in the creed, meaning talking about the religious belief and faith. The truth is self-evident, that all men is created equal. I have a dream. I have a vision, I have a prophecy that one day the hills of Georgia, the sons of the former slaves and the sons of the former slave owners will be and sit down together and table together in brotherhood. I have a dream that one day the states of Mississippi and the sweltering, this guy, he's a unique guy, in the heat of injustice, sweltering, the heat of oppression, will transform into the oasis of freedom and justice. Golly, you might well say that. And then he said, I have a dream, I have a vision and a prophecy that my 4 children one day will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. This guy is unique. Oh, Martin. My man Martin. But let's move on. I have a vision and a prophecy. One day in Alabama, vicious races with our governor having his lips dripping in the words of interposition and nullification. Oh boy, my man Martin. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. Nullification. I mean, in interposition, and this is talking about interference. So we, oh boy. So he's talking about this. So he's talking about, actually, let me get the nullification. Need that one too. Need that one too. And then we can dissect him. Because you need the nullification. Because this is going to actually make you mad. This is actually going to make you mad. But it's okay. We'll be all right. It is okay. So, you can't make it up. Put us there. So what he's saying is this. He's saying, dripping in the words of inner position, which is the interference or the interference or the intervention, including nullification, meaning nullifying the constitutional theory. Did anybody catch that? I guess nobody caught it. What he's secondly saying is this. They're not trying to get the position to be equal as equal people. He just wants them to throw him a bone here and there. That's all he's actually saying. Dripping from the words of the interference or intervention, nullifying the constitutional theory that they cool. Just throw us a bone here and there. He says, one day down in Alabama, black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with white boys and white girls and sisters and brothers and have a dream one day. A dream that one day every valley shall exalt upon the hill and the mountain be made low. Every God should be made low, because that's what he's talking about with the mountain. Rough places made plain, and in crooked places made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. And that's what he's getting ready to talk about himself. That's what he said. This is our hope. So he's telling you, this is you guys. It ain't my hope, but it's y'all hope. So don't try to put this on me. This is y'all hope, not my hope. He says, this is the faith that I will take back to the south with. He said, I'm gonna take this same hope. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna push this. I'm gonna push this doctrine there. He's telling you right up front. I'm gonna push this doctrine there. I'm going there and I'm gonna push this faith, this trust, and this belief, and have confidence that I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna push this doctrine. He says, with this faith, I will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair. Hewn. I'm telling you, this man is not playing with you, but a lot of people think he's playing. Let me see. Let me see. That's the one I want, right there. That's the one I want. So we're going to look at hewn. We want to understand what he's saying. So hewn is what he's telling you, or the Because that's what he's telling you. Because that's all human actually says. That's all it actually means. So he's talking about the cut off and the scattered out of the mountain of despair. So the mountain always refers to God. That's who he's talking about. Because he scattered us. And Martin is actually pissed about this. You can see it in his writings. So the mountain is God of Yahweh, of despair. He's telling you right up front exactly what he's doing. And he's telling you up front, we see it up at the top, but I want to put it back down here again to where you can see it. And they can't even deny it. They can't even deny this. Because the Bible going to tell you all the time, it always going to refer to come to God, come to God. That's why he said, I'm going to bring you to my mountain. That's why he says this. So he's saying, out of a mountain of despair, where you forsaken, a stone of hope comes. This is why this dude says this. He's the new lion. That's what he's talking about. So the stone of hope, he was, let me show you. That's why I said I didn't want it, but I'll still show it to you. This is why he's quoting. This is why it's telling you this right here. In Exodus chapter 19. In Ezekiel chapter 19 verse 5. It says, now when she saw that she had waited and her hope was lost, and when she took another of her whips and made him a young lion. This is what he's actually talking about. This is what this is actually speaking of. And they can sit there and say, oh no, that ain't what it, yeah, that's what they're speaking of. Because he's telling you right up front here, this stone of hope, he's actually speaking of himself. This is why he tells you this. That's why he says that. A stone of hope. And he says, with this faith, we will be able to transform the janglings. Look what he's saying here. He's very upfront here. Now he said, oh, this works. I can go ahead and I can jam this down their throats. The janglings. Think about this. So when he's talking about the janglings, I'm going to show you what he's saying because you're going to see it actually in Scripture. And this is why he's using Scripture a lot. So when you see these things, it can kind of jog your memory a little bit. And so he says to be able to transform. So he's telling you he can transform what these vain janglings was. In the vain janglings, he's talking about this. We're going to find this in some of these vain janglings. And you'll see that back in what we showed you earlier. You'll find in 1 Timothy. We'll see what those vain janglings are. So the vain janglings is telling you in Timothy. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 6. He's telling you right up front what they are. And he's telling you from there, he says, from which some having swerved and have turned aside into vain janglings. Because some people believe in what God is saying. Don't do that. He's telling you up front, don't do that. Look at it. You transform to vain jangling. Discords. Let me show you. Let me show you. And then I'll write it down. But let me show you. This man is not playing with you at all. In no part of it. In Proverbs chapter 6, verse 9. He says this and he making sure this is clear. Did I have this Proverbs 6:19? I went down to the wrong one. Here we go. It says, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he soweth discords among brethren. It's talking about God out of this mountain of despair. He's telling you this up front. This mountain of despair is sowing these discords. among you. We just got to stay. We got to do what we need to do for God. We got to stay. We got to stay to God. No, Martin's sitting there. No, bro. You got stuff over here we won't. No. So these discords, We want it. I want that G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip too. I mean, discourse is controversies. And strife. He's telling you this right up front. You can go read on this one lady who has 7 sons. He's actually telling you this. Don't get caught up into that. Don't hold on to what God is telling you, because God, he didn't forsaken you. He didn't bounce. It says, transform the vain jangling from these vain sayings and controversies of strife of our nation into a beautiful sympathy of brotherhood. All we gotta do is join to them. That's all we gotta do, and we good. I'm telling you, you can't beat this. It says, with this faith, we will be able to work together. We'll be able to pray together. We'll be able to struggle together. We'll go to jail together. We stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day that God's children will be able to sing that new meaning. My country, tears of thee. You see what he's saying? Tears of thee. People don't even know what he's saying there. In tears of... Actually, I'm going to tell you what. Please take your time and just check this. He's actually using a Hebrew word, which is shady he did that. Really shady. Actually, I want to show where this one right here. It's shady he did that. Because he shouldn't have did that. This is what that tears actually means. That's why I say I don't think he crafted this himself. Because tears mean is set. That's a Hebrew word he's using. That's a Paleo Hebrew word he's using. He's telling you clearly what this is all together in his entire thing. Because he's saying, my country is set of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died? No. Land of the pilgrim's pride? From every mountainside, let freedom reign. In providing America is to be a great nation, this must become true. Out of the mouth of Martin. And he goes down and says all this stuff where he's doing. And he's saying, actually gets down to the end because he just started talking about this, let the freedom ring, all this silliness. It says, God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestant and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, free at last. Martin letter. That's the letter of Martin. The letter of Martin. A king. I am king, the God man. So the main thing is, I'm going to put this back up again. I'm going to put it back up again. I'm going to put this up again to see what people think. We're going to see what people think. Was Martin king for black people? I want to see what you think there. Because I want you to go take that and tear it down. And you tell me what you see. You now know what everything says. You now understand all the words he used. You now understand completely what this man is talking about. And this man has completely deceived his people. And no one sat there and checked, took the time and looked at what this man was saying. So the same ones is, I want to see what those 7, how they feel about it. I want to see what they think about what this man was saying. And I'm not sure if they sitting there saying the same thing. I want to believe and sit there and see. We only got 89 people so far voted. But I really want to believe what people, those 7, saying. Do they still think that Martin King was for his people? And we still not seeing what's going on. But the main thing is, he deceived many of our forefathers. He deceived many of our grandfathers that was there. And they not paying attention to what he was saying and not looking at the language he was using. When most people want to deceive you, they use a certain language to where he can throw you, to throw you off track. That's what he did. And he was able to deceive a nation of people. And he deceived the world that he called himself this man of God. I'm trying to sit there and see what is going on with this. We have only 102 people that so far voted. I want to see a little bit more people in there as they continue. What happened? But the same thing, like I said, yeah, it's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable thing. But the thing what we have to pay attention to is what was being said by him this entire time. We have to understand what was being said there. We can't change it. We can't move it around. But the only thing is as we see people, they got a few more. I'm going to let it go maybe for another minute. But I just want you to understand exactly who King was and how he carefully crafted this letter. And it was not for you at all. All he wanted really is the way you have the ability to where you can go to a town, you can just sleep in the same room. Not with them, but just sleep in the same building with them. And then if they don't want you to, they'll feel sorry for beating you the way they did. It's King out of his own mouth. King from his own letter. King. So right now we getting ready to end it. It's been going 3 minutes. We still don't have people going through, so we're going to end this voting right now. And I want to sit there and see that nobody saying that King was for his people. But my main thing is I want to see what, yeah, he's a crafty fellow. I agree with you. He's crafty. But I want to see what people, the ones who voted yes, I wanted them to put in there to see, but I don't see, they put in yes or no. So I don't know, because I don't know who put in there that they thought he was. He was in what a fraud he was. But I wanted people to understand exactly why when I speak about this man, they know where I'm coming from. Because when you can go into his writings, you can see what this man has wrote. He's telling you to bow down and to get beat. And hopefully that people will feel sorry for you, the same person that beat you. When most of them sit there and say, I should have killed him. And if you ever notice, what most people don't know, if you ever notice anytime beatings and things like that happen, he never was present. He'd be present where they might go to jail. He'd be present where people might get put in a paddy wagon. He'd never be present where people were beating. He was never present. So, hopefully, everybody got some understanding from this. But as I said, this is open to his family. This is open to anyone that still have marched with him. Tell me that letter is a lie on what I showed. Because this man was about money. This man was about whoring around with women. He was used by Margaret Singer to eliminate his own people. So when people sit there and tell me about this man, I'm showing you the letter, showing you the breakdown of his letter, and you see it for yourself. So with that, I hope that each and every person got some understanding for what went on, and we understand why King, he kept us in bondage, and a lot of us is in bondage still to this day. And then all my moderators, y'all can let those comments continually go. I'm cool with that. Let it go in there, and that's okay. But I want them to clearly understand why I sit there and tell you time and time and time again, pay close attention to what goes out. So hopefully that each and every person got some understanding. Hopefully each and every person sit there, understand why I always had such an issue. Because it's not just this one. You got many other ones he do that I've done on. But now we understand why this is the way he is. So I'm going to end this here, and hopefully next time we'll get a better understanding on many other things. So I appreciate everybody who took the time to come over here to check this out. And so until next time, I say to each and every person, until we see each other again, I say to each and every person, Shalom.